Hello, welcome back. As usual, it's always a pleasure to be with you sharing. Make sure you go on my YouTube channel. There's tons of information there that will help you understand these concepts that will give you, because again, we're all looking for happiness. And the problem is we don't know how to get that happiness. And the only way to do that is by learning. So why do we fail in marriage? Think about it for a minute. Why all of us are failing in marriage? Well, when it comes to marriage, is the one area that there is absolutely no instruction how to do it. Meaning that we go to school, we go to college for every kind of career there is, and there's training in that area for us to succeed. Imagine you show up on a job, you apply for the job. Let's say Bill Gates, you're taking over the company, and he hands you over the keys. You know nothing about the business, and he says, "I'll see you in 3 years." What are the chances for you to succeed? Very slim. Why? Because you have no understanding. You heard of his name, but that's about it. In the company as well. But do you know anything about it? No. So when you think about it, we enter marriage and we know nothing about marriage. We go to school for 12 years to learn just to get a high school diploma. Okay, it took us 12 years. But yet, when we go to college, we want to be doctors, lawyers. It takes another 8 years, whatever the case may be, in order for us to understand what we're getting into. But when it comes to marriage, we know nothing. What we do, our parents, if we look at our parents, they knew nothing about marriage. If we look at the generation before them, they knew nothing about marriage. Because if they did, they would have been successful in it. Because why? There's absolutely no training, and no one is talking about that. We need to learn what it means to be a man, to be a husband, to be a father. What does it mean to be a wife, to be a woman, to be a mother? We don't just wake up and we are that. If that was the case, that would be for everything. We would just wake up, we want to be a doctor, we're a doctor. Or we want to be a lawyer, we're a lawyer. But we had to go to training. But no one is trained in the area which is the most important investment in a human being life, is marriage. And we have no idea. There's no training, there's no instruction how to do this and to be successful in it. But the problem is this too, that because we opt, meaning that we want to do things our way, because God had written the manual, what marriage is about. And no one wants to read that manual. Everyone wants to do it because they think they're capable. And if you look back and if you look at everyone, we all failed at it. Because why? We wanted to do it according to what we think it should be. And guess what? It didn't turn out too well for you, did it? It didn't turn out too well for me either. Even though we want that, we want to be married, we want to succeed, but there's no instruction how to do that. And because of that reason is why we all fail in that area. The most important thing, the most important investment in a human being life is marriage, and we fail at it. But again, the instruction is there, and it's called God. God is the creator. He created all of us. He has instruction how for us to get married and stay married. But again, because we've been taught looking at celebrities, looking at the social medias, listening to other people's opinion, instead of going to the creator who created us and created marriage, instead of going to the source to get the instruction how to succeed, we decided not to. So we cannot get upset when it doesn't work, because why? You chose not to go to the one who created marriage, the one who created you, the one who created the world, left instruction how to succeed in the most important investment in our lives. But we decide that we know better than God. And those of you who may disagree, I don't know, those of you who do, but again, you can always go upstairs and have that argument with God. Because why? If you think you know more than God, God will say, well then, I'll just take you from this world, bring you upstairs, and we can have this discussion. Why? Because you know more than I do. And the point is, ladies and gentlemen, we will never know more than God. If you look at the Old Testament, everyone who decided to do things their way, they got hurt by it. Not God wants to punish us. It's like this. When you were growing up, your parents had rules, right? You may not like the rules, but what was the purpose of the rules? The purpose of the rules in the house was for your benefit. It wasn't for your parents' benefit. It was for your benefit. So if you're going to succeed, this is the first place you start. Learn what is marriage is through the eyes of God, through the creator who created you, who created marriage, who created the soul. He created everything. No one else is going to give you the right instruction, because why? They're not God. They didn't create you. Okay? They're going, and if you notice, most people who's giving advice, usually they're failures in that area as well. And I can say I fell in that area too, because why? I did not know. I was going by what I thought marriage should be, but I had to learn, what does the Creator have to say about marriage? Because why? When I looked around, everyone is failing at it. No one seems to be happy. And even if they're in it, they're not happy. Why are they not happy? Because they're going by their own logic, by their own understanding. And you will never succeed when it comes to marriage. And if you think you know, it's just a matter of time before you fail. And God says, because why? You're not going to make a mockery of God, because marriage is a holiness. It's holiness, okay? It's not something you play around with. This is something very, very serious, because the Creator of the world created us in half human and half flesh, of course, and half spiritual. And marriage is a spiritual entity. It's spiritual. It's not physical. This is the one reason why we're failing, because we're taking something that is spiritual and turning it into something that is physical. So you need to understand what is a spiritual marriage means through the eyes of your Creator. And again, I will see you next time, and we will do part 2 and continue what marriage is and what is the component, how we move forward to succeed in something that we all desire, but for some reason we cannot obtain, because why? We have the wrong information. And I'll see you next time. God bless.